Hello, 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 Emery's Crime. Sorry, that was my husband. Anyway, Emery's Crime here, your fellow crime thriller and mystery book lover. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I've seen a few booktube creators do this, and also it's been ages since I've had a 5-star read. So the purpose of this video is that this video will end when I find a 5-star read. I started That's Not My Name by Megan Lally. It is on Kindle Unlimited currently. I'm about 20% of the way through and so far so good. It is currently following two timelines. The first is a girl and she's on the road beaten and bruised and a policeman finds her and she can't remember her name or who she is. And then the second timeline follows a guy named, I think his name's Tom, and his girlfriend is missing. I'm really enjoying it. I'm not getting 5-star vibes yet, but I'm only 20% of the way through, so there's time for that to change. Anyway, the reason that I'm looking dressed up today, I don't know if you can see, is I'm off to a wedding, so I probably won't get much reading done today, but I'll bring you along with me because we're going to, well, the wedding's at Nest Botanic Gardens, which is stunning.
Tim there as well.
He's got to put some stuff in.
Full of beer, please.
Usually it's on.
That was it.
Come on, boys. 1, 2, 3. Oh!
Of the girlies. The wedding yesterday was absolutely stunning. What an amazing day. It ended up being quite a late one, so I didn't really make any progress with That's Not My Name. However, before I started this vlog, I started Little Secrets by Jennifer Hillier on audio, and I only had an hour left, so I thought I'd just quickly finish it before coming on to talk to you all. Main character Maureen, she lets go of her little boy's hand and he gets taken, which obviously, as an expecting mother, just hits so hard. This is my third Jennifer Hillier book. I've also read Jar of Hearts and The Butcher, both of which I've given 5 stars to, so I was very hopeful that this would also be a 5-star read. I absolutely loved Little Secrets, particularly towards the end. There's some great twists. However, it wasn't quite a 5-star book for me. I just didn't think it was as good as the other two, so I ended up giving it 4.5 stars out of 5. Hello my friends, it is absolutely scorchio out there. I have picked the best week to have off work ever. My week has consisted of being productive, seeing friends and a lot of reading in the garden, which has been perfect on my hunt for a 5-star read. So I have got 3 books to quickly update you on. First up, I finished A Box Full of Murders by Janice Hallett. This is a mixed media style book intended for kids. Obviously, as I'm not the intended audience for the book, it didn't feel right to give this a star rating. I enjoyed this. I thought it was very wholesome and cozy, and it was the right book at the right time. I was feeling a bit sluggish when I read it. Obviously, I've not given it a star rating, but if I was to give it a star rating, it wouldn't have been a 5-star read. Next up, I read That's Not My Name by Megan Lally because it was on Kindle Unlimited, and I see people rave about this book all the time. It's a YA book, but it doesn't really read like a YA book, if that makes sense. The main characters are very mature. I really enjoyed this. Reading this book on my Kindle as I was falling asleep was perfect, and I actually flew through it really quickly. However, I guessed the major twist. I thought it was really obvious, so I gave it 4 stars out of 5. I would definitely recommend it, but not a 5-star book. The third book I want to update you on, which I wasn't really expecting to be a 5-star book, but I just wanted to read something easy, and I'm working my way through this author's backlist, and that is The Co-Worker by Freida McFadden. Dawn Schiff is kind of strange, and she's obsessed with turtles, and one day she just doesn't turn up to work. That results in her colleague Natalie being concerned and starts to investigate what's happened to her. And this sends Natalie on kind of a trail of darkness and secrets, is probably the best way I can describe it without giving too much away. This did the job. It was a light, easy read. It didn't take itself too seriously. The turtle references were a bit over the top, but overall I enjoyed it. Again, it wasn't a 5-star book though. I gave it 3.5 stars out of 5. I've only got about 60 pages left of my current read, so I'm going to go sit in the garden and finish that and hopefully give you an update very shortly. I've just come outside to do some reading and I have company, and I know that some of you will really appreciate this. So many ducks. These seem to be our 8 regulars that visit us quite a lot. So I finished Burial Friends by Benjamin Dean. This is a YA thriller book, and one night Noah and Patrick, two guys from the same school, or two boys from the same school, go missing, and then a few days later Noah turns up but Patrick is still missing. And to celebrate graduating Woodthorn Academy, Noah and a few of his friends go to this opulent country estate to celebrate, and what should be a classy affair ends up being a nightmare because a killer is killing them one by one. It took a while to get going, and I felt that there was like two storylines going on, and I was wondering how they'd kind of meet together, but after about page 100 the pace kicks off, and overall I enjoyed it. It wasn't a 5-star book, it was a 3.5-star book for me. I'm now going to start Knock Knock by Michelle Tien. This is basically, there's some new neighbours, they seem really nice, but actually Marcus, the new neighbour, has a secret and you're his next victim, so it sounds really good. And also I met this author recently and she was lovely. I always have 3 books on the go, so I'll have Knock Knock as my physical book. Then on Kindle I'm reading The Girl Who Was Taken by Charlie Donnelly, which is really good so far. It's available on Kindle Unlimited. Then on audio, completely off brand for me, but I'm listening to Burial Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab. I've nearly finished that, so I'll update you on all these 3 books when I've finished, and hopefully there's going to be a 5-star in the mix. Hello everyone, I've got a little reading update for you all because we were so close, and I mean so close to a 5-star book, but not quite. First up I finished Knock Knock by Michelle Tien, and I thought it was really good. It was a strong 4 stars out of 5 book for me. It wasn't quite what I was expecting, but I don't mean that in a bad way. And yeah, it was really good. There was some good twists, the chapters were quite short and punchy so you could get through it quite quickly. There was little bits of dialogue from a therapy session which broke up the rest of the writing quite nicely, so yeah, that was a really solid read. I read, because it was on Kindle Unlimited and because I've been seeing people rave about it, The Girl Who Was Taken by Charlie Donnelly. 2 girls at the same high school who don't get on are at the same party together and they are both abducted. However, one of them escapes 2 weeks later, but the other one over a year later is still missing. When it comes to reading on my Kindle, I'm quite a slow Kindle reader because I tend to only read my Kindle as I'm falling asleep, but considering I did read this on my Kindle, I got through it so quickly. The story was great. There was a lot of forensic pathology in the story. I don't know if it's factually correct, but I found it fascinating. I didn't actually like the character of the girl who was still missing, and that kind of added an interesting perspective to the story. So overall, I really loved it, and I was so close to giving it a 5-star rating, but then the ending happened. I can't tell you what happens in the ending because I don't want to spoil it, but if you know, you know. But unfortunately, that meant that I gave it 4.5 stars out of 5. So close to a 5-star, yet so far. Hello friends, me again. So I've just been driving to Liverpool because I'm meeting my friends Danny and Emma because we're going to see Materialist at the Everyman Cinema. And I've just finished on audio on the drive Burial Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab. So obviously this is completely off brand for me, but I was curious because the author is rumoured, or maybe even it's been confirmed to be one of the authors of Evelyn Clark of the book The Ending Writes Itself, and also people have been raving about it, so naturally I've been curious. Unfortunately, this is not my cup of tea. First of all, what this book is about is a mystery to you and me both. I have no idea. It was very slow paced. It didn't need to be that long. I did think the final quarter was the most exciting of the whole book, but the first 3 quarters were a real slog. I did it on audio obviously, and I think if I'd have been reading it, I would have DNF'd it. So obviously this is definitely not a 5-star. It was probably 2.5 stars out of 5 book for me. I now need to decide on my next audio for tomorrow. I might do the Joe Piazza book. Hello my friends, it has been a few days, but I am back with another reading update for you on my search for a 5-star read. But before I give you a reading update, I just want to show you my bump because it has popped out of nowhere. Look at this! I am 6 months pregnant. I feel I shouldn't be this huge by now, but at least it shows that he's growing. Anyway, first of all, I read The Business Trip by Jessie Garcia. I thought that this was really good. I was going to give it 4.5 stars out of 5, but I thought the first half was better than the second half, even though the second half was still really good. So I gave it 4 stars out of 5. I really enjoyed it, and the story didn't go in the direction I thought it was going to go, which was a good thing. And then I read The Illustrated Mum, which is obviously a kid's book because I wanted to brush up some back knowledge before reading Jacqueline Wilson's new adult sequel to this book. And because this book is catered towards 12-year-olds, I didn't feel it was right to give it a rating. I then DNF'd The Tapes by Kerry Wilkinson. I just thought it was ridiculous. The characters didn't behave like how characters should, and yeah, it wasn't my cup of tea. So then I thought maybe I needed a palate cleanser, so I thought I'd give Conditions of Will by Jessa Hastings a go. I love the Magnolia Park series. I find it's very toxic, very trashy Gossip Girl vibes, and that's kind of what I was looking for. However, with Conditions of Will, it wasn't giving those vibes. It felt more serious. It explored more serious topics, and it wasn't for me. So again, I DNF'd it, and then I ended up in a reading slump. So I took a few days off reading, which has done me the world of good. So I'm now back to reading as normal and enjoying books. So once I've got more of an update for you with books, I will let you know. I am really hoping that I find a 5-star book before this baby arrives. Fingers crossed. Hello everyone, how are we all? This weather getting cold, oh, it's so sad. Where has the sunshine gone? Since we last spoke, I've finished 3 books. The first book is Leave No Trace by Jo Callaghan. This is book 2 following Blink of an Eye. But in this book, human detective Cat Frank, and AI detective Locke are now solving a live case as opposed to cold cases. I enjoyed it, but I didn't enjoy it as much as book 1, so I gave it 4 stars. The second book, which I read, is The Perfect Son by Frida McFadden. Obviously very easy. It's a popcorn thriller, a page turner. I loved it. One of my favourites of hers so far. I gave it 4.5 stars out of 5. It's about this woman, and she says that you shouldn't have a favourite child, but she does, and it's her son. But he's got a dark side to her. And a girl that he's been chatting to that he likes has gone missing, and he's the number 1 suspect. Yesterday, I finished The Killer Question by Janice Hallett, which is her latest mixed media style book set in a pub. I think I've spoken about it on the vlog previously, and I gave it 4 stars, and that will be featuring in my Janice Hallett vlog, which will be up by the time that you see this video. I will link it at the end if you're interested. No 5-star as of yet, but it's not all doom and gloom. So I'm 80% of the way through Don't Believe It by Charlie Donnelly, and if it carries on the way it's going, it's going to be a 5-star. I have very high hopes. Sydney Ryan is a filmmaker, and she has done 3 films based on true life cases where people are in jail who she thinks shouldn't be in. She thinks they're innocent, and she has, for all 3 of those people in her past films, proven that they're innocent and got them exonerated. For her 4th documentary, she is now trying to prove the innocence of Grace, who has been imprisoned in a St. Lucian prison for the past 10 years for murdering her boyfriend. I've been struggling at the moment with baby brain when it comes to concentrating with books. So I've been reading lots of trashy books and popcorn thriller books, which, don't get me wrong, I love, but it's very unlikely I'm ever going to give those kinds of books a 5-star. But this is managing to hold my attention, yet it isn't like a trashy popcorn thriller. It's just incredibly well written. I am so impressed with this author. I think he's going to be a new favourite. I really think this is going to be a 5-star book for me, but I've had a hunch for a while what the twist is going to be. So if I'm proven correct, then I won't give it 5 stars. We've just had a more obvious hint, so I'm hoping that this is a red herring, but we'll see. And then I'm really hoping that the ending of this isn't in the same style as his other book, which I read, but I am expecting an unsatisfactory ending. So maybe even if the ending does annoy me, maybe because I'm expecting it, it won't annoy me, and I'll still have those 5-star vibes, if that makes any sense. But anyway, I'm hoping to finish it tonight, so I will be back very soon with an update. But for now, I have seen all over TikTok that The Works have a huge sale on where books are £1. I've seen loads of romance books in this sale, so I thought I'd bring you along with me to The Works and we can have a look and see if they've got any thriller crime books for £1. Some Frida books would be great, but I don't think The Works will ever sell Frida books for £1. But anyway, let's go. I am at The Works and I can see the sale stickers on the window. Let me show you. Oh, I just love The Works so much. Anyway, so I'm going to pop in now and fingers crossed for some £1 thrillers. Also, excuse the glasses. You don't see me wear my glasses very often because I actually wear them 99% of the time. But for filming, I take them off because I think that they're really ugly, but I do have to wear them to drive and to see. But yeah, anyway, I digress. Let's go to The Works.
Got a bag?
There wasn't as much choice as I was expecting, but I guess everyone's seen that the works have got a massive sale on TikTok and they've probably depleted their stock. No surprise, there was barely any thrillers. I did pick up Finlay Donovan Jumps the Gun. This is a part of the Finlay Donovan series. I think this is book 3 and I've got book 1 and I think book 5 on my TBR. These are like dark humour, witty thriller books. And it was £1, so I thought why not. And then the 3, 4, £7.50 deals were screaming at me, so I picked up Do Not Disturb by Frida McFadden, because obviously I'm working my way through her backlist. I then got What the Wife Knew by Darby Kane. I feel like I've read it, but then when I was reading the blurb, I don't think I have read it, but whatever. And then I also picked up The Poison Tree by Erin Kelly. I love the books of hers which I've read. I think that this follows on from another book, but I also think it could be read as a standalone. But those 3 came to £7.50 plus the Finlay Donovan book, so 4 books for £8.50. Can't really grumble at that. Anyway, so I shall see you tomorrow with hopefully a 5-star update. If this book isn't a 5-star, then I'm gonna have to, I don't know, pull out the big guns. I don't know how I'm gonna do that, but I'll have to have a think. But anyway, positive vibes, it's gonna be a 5-star book because I feel like I've covered a lot of books in this vlog. I've just popped into TK Maxx because it's next door to Marx's where I'm popping in to get our tea, and they have for £3.99 The House in the Pines. I've been intrigued by this for ages. I feel like it'd be rude not to buy it. So I had to buy it because the Times have said it's creepy, and Riley Sager has said it was powerfully eerie and atmospheric, and also M.W. Craven said it was superb. And if it's creepy and atmospheric, that's going to be perfect for spooky season. 5 books in total for £12.50 is pretty good going. Anyway, I'll see you tomorrow. I'll stop procrastinating. Hi friends, I know I'm wearing the same outfit as yesterday. Don't judge me, but my outfit options are slim pickings at the moment. But anyway, so I finished the book last night and it's not good news. I'm only joking. It was a 5-star read at last. The twist was great, and following on from the twist there was some jaw-dropping moments, and as for the ending, it did end quite brutally, but I was satisfied. I feel like the story was wrapped up well. He is clearly just the kind of author that doesn't really write endings, he just stops. And now I've read a couple of his books, I kind of know what to expect when it comes to his endings. But yeah, very pleased to finally have a 5-star read. I think my last 5-star book was in May or maybe June, so it's been a good 3 or 4 months. Thank you so much for taking your time to watch this video. I'm going to link my previous 2 videos here just in case you've not had a chance to check them out and you'd like to do so. If you're not already doing so and are able to hit that subscribe button, it would be greatly appreciated. And as always, let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you. Bye.